I remember the therapist had to tell me that avoidance is simply rescheduling conflict.
I do remember that.
Because I would just rather not. Like, I don't want it. But it shows
wants you.
It craves me. Yeah. It is addicted to me.
This is Nobody Listens to Chasta, a countercultural podcast about challenging broken systems, thinking differently, and living a happier, more intentional life.
Hey everybody, it's Chasta, and this is Nobody Listens to Chasta. Now, typically when I say cue the confetti, but today I am flipping the narrative, and we are going to talk about cue the conflict, because we know conflict is a part of our daily lives in every way, all the ways, every day. Today, to talk about cueing the conflict, I have brought on my wonderful husband, John, who is very familiar with conflict I experience, conflict we experience, conflict we navigate, and all of the ways that this is a part of all of our lives. But nobody runs around every day like, hey, oh my gosh, let me tell you about all the conflict I encountered today. Do they?
Well, thank you for having me.
I do say that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, I like to think of myself as your biggest cheerleader, your biggest supporter, but also, I like to hope at least that I'm the number one adversary, just in terms of when we are fighting. I hope that I'm better at it you're a hard person to fight, Chasta, let's be honest. Many have tried, many have fallen at your mightiness, but I do my best to hang in there.
Whoa, I don't know about all that. But you have taught me many new ways of handling conflict, which I'm excited to talk about today.
Ignore it. Is that what I do?
That's what you would like to do. Yeah. But I don't like to ignore it.
No, you don't.
So anyway, we'll get into our personal patterns in a little bit. But I'm just coming on today. I'm wondering, did you have a moment? Well, first off, I feel like you are intrinsically a conflict avoider.
Conflict averse.
Conflict, I don't know if it's conflict adverse. I just think it's not drawn to you. You call yourself like a mediator.
I do. In those aptitude tests that I presented you with so many years ago, if you listen to our first episode, you might have caught some of that. I have the personality of someone who can listen to. It sounds like that original Trump interview where it's like many sides, all sides, but I am able to listen to every side that is presented before I make a decision.
And you try to be a peacemaker.
So conflict is not coming after me the way it's kind of got a laser lock on you. That's
it does
certainly
have a laser lock on me.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm hearing is you had a pretty peaceful existence.
Peaceful existence. Who has a peaceful existence?
You watched your sports.
Look, there's a lot of conflict in sports. Let's be honest. You're sitting down there watching the hockey with me like, this is barbaric. How are they doing this?
Yeah, that is true. But it was we call that adjacent. It doesn't actually impact your everyday.
Well, that's one opinion, certainly.
So anyway,
Sebastian, I was taking him to school today, and he is just on the verge of crying because the Minnesota Wild lost and we're eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah,
so
and I think it
affected
genetics,
his every day, and then it affected my every day because I'm trying to coach the poor kid off a cliff, So,
but he might have learned that from you.
Oh, he certainly didn't learn it from you. So yeah, I guess so.
But what I am wondering is is there a moment in our journey when you hear cue the conflict? And
one moment. Yeah. Let's pick one.
To start.
I'm going to be honest. I came in here ready with one that I know you're going to remember. And our background in musical theater, one such show being the infamous Ghost production. Ghost the musical.
I was the director and choreographer.
You were the director and choreographer. I was Sam Wheat.
Patrick Swayze.
Just for those of you who didn't know, that's the Patrick Swayze character. It's a lot younger, a lot better looking back then. But the point of the story
Patrick
is...
Swayze. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
You're talking about yourself.
I'm just saying my past self was, Patrick Swayze was always better looking than me.
No,
You're right about that.
I disagree.
Anyway, it was despite all of the conflict that happened in producing that show and bringing it to light.
I mean, the fact that we were producing the show in a 99-seat black box was
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it was, when we talked about heck no to the status quo, like this, we bit off a lot.
oh, we did. But this particular moment stemmed from a director decision.
Yeah, a directorial decision that I made.
A creative decision
Yep.
that you made. To if anybody out there has seen the movie,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Turn it off now if you haven't seen Ghost, 1990, starring Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. You're left with Patrick Swayze's character, who has, once again, we already said spoiler alert, but he's dead. He is a
He
ghost.
was murdered. He was murdered.
And he is leaving the earthly realm to pass on. And it's sad, and Unchained Melody is playing, and he tells her...
It's tragic.
The
love
it's
inside
amazing,
never
Molly.
leaves you, yeah.
And
you played the character. You should be saying it, not me.
right,
but I
yes.
did direct you.
Okay. Anyway, many, just about all Broadway shows, any type of level of theater, at the very end, there is what's called a curtain call, where everybody comes out, they take their bows, the audience gets to cheer. And your decision, which I thought was really lovely, is and I was going to be one of the most important person to take the bow, right?
You would have been the last
But I supported
bow.
your decision to just leave the audience with that beautiful moment. Yeah, beautiful moment of looking into the afterlife.
It felt very reverent. Like
Right.
my intention as a director was that I wanted them to sit in their thoughts.
Yeah.
Which maybe felt uncomfortable.
I'm sure clearly it did for potentially this one person who, this was the closing show, right? It was the very last show we did.
I can't remember.
I think it might have been.
Okay.
And what happened, Chasta?
I don't think it was the closing show, because I think I was at recital at the closing show. I think it was earlier in the run. Well, she was enraged. And did she come to me first?
Oh, she came right up to Well, she clearly asked around to find out who the director was.
That's right. I'm with you now. So much conflict has happened since 2017. It took me a minute to place the time and the energy, but she came at me and she was really upset. How dare I not have a curtain call? How dare I not give her the opportunity to thank the performers? And so then that's when I was trying to gather the performers, including you.
Yeah. So here, come talk to them, and
Yes,
you can
come.
quite literally interact with them if you'd like.
Yeah. And she felt that what I had done ruined her theater experience.
Right. Even though
I've thought about that a lot over the years, because that wasn't the intention whatsoever. But wherever she was at that day, she was not willing to meet this artistic vision. She wasn't interested in it.
And she clearly thought I did such a great job that she just wanted to stand up there and applaud and scream and
yeah. And it goes back to that trophies conversation, really, of how are we conditioned as a society?
Yeah.
Why as, and this, I don't want to get hung up on curtain calls, should we or shouldn't we, but can we not
talk to the show? Give us a couple of messages. Curtain calls, yes or no?
But can we not enjoy theater without that? I've been on the creative side for a long time. It's been a long time since I've been on the performer side. The creatives don't come out for bows.
No, and that's a good point, because let me tell you, they do just as much, if not more work on putting a show together. Yeah.
And your pit, they might wave their arm up.
They do their salute, right? But it's those people deserve to be fully on stage and celebrated.
Or your costume designers, your lighting directors, your set builders, your set painters. This
is why it's so hard to win an argument against Chasta. You hear these things she's bringing up? She's making a really good point.
It takes so many people to make something come to life. And the message that we all, as a team, creative and cast, wanted to drive home was this powerful moment of sitting and resting in grief. Remember, we talked to hospice a lot.
We did.
We really tried to learn and understand this process, and we wanted to gift the audience that. Yeah. But this person didn't want to receive it.
They did not want it. But they thought we did a good job because they wanted to cheer us. So thank you.
But she also wanted to throw
take
the gift
your
of
head
the
off.
Yeah,
she was coming in hot.
Exactly. So I think that was you weren't used to kind of that level of discourse.
Yeah. And I think that brings me to another thing I wasn't used to. And I think this is fun because it's a totally different direction. In one of the first longer distance trips you and I took with one another, there was conflict not between us, but between the two of us and where we were staying.
Where we were staying?
In Cancun, Mexico. See? We had arrived at our destination, and the arrangements were not quite what Chasta,
Well,
Lifetime
no.
Marriott Titanium member, by the way, may have expected.
Yeah.
And you
No.
used a little different conflict strategy, I think, that was just as effective. Or was it? Maybe it wasn't effective because I don't think we got.
I don't think we got what we wanted, but that's okay. But you've already said on an episode that I'm okay with crying, and I am. I don't weaponize it. It really is just like sometimes my emotions take over.
They just get going.
Yeah, and I was feeling frustrated. And I mean, you're right. This was like a new trip, a new place, a new space. I had a vision of what we were coming, and it was fine. It wasn't like we walked into Schitt's Creek, you know.
There was no electricity.
Like it was a fine experience.
No, I mean it was a good hotel,
but I felt like we had been misguided, if you will.
Yes.
And I was expressing that to them. They didn't care, but I was more at peace the rest of the stay after having that conversation with them.
Despite not having really gained anything.
Yeah, I didn't really gain anything. And that goes back to like the advocacy of, no, this was something that was not okay.
Yeah.
So like we need to find a way to come into agreement to make it right.
Why, not just John, but a lot of people in society, why are we conflict averse?
Yeah.
Why do we
I am
not?
too. I don't, I'm not. It can
Even
make
though you're
up
a conflict magnet, you're also conflict averse?
I am so conflict averse. I remember the therapist had to tell me that avoidance is simply rescheduling conflict.
I do remember that.
Because I would just rather not. Like, I don't want it. But it
wants
shows
you.
it craves me. Yeah. It is addicted to me. It's trapped. Speaking of other episodes, like I need conflict to not be trapped with me. So so to that point, I don't look for it. It finds me.
Yeah, there's like that It Follows movie. It sounds like a horror movie over here. But get us away from the horror. Lead us into the light. Tell us how, even if we are averse to it, even if we don't like it, there are things worth fighting for.
Oh, yeah.
It's not always the extra scoop of chicken on your Chipotle bowl, but there are other things.
Well, and I mean, for you, it is also the guacamole or the avocado spread on sandwiches.
Look, if you're going to come between me and my food, there will be conflict.
So that is your priority.
I guess it is.
Yeah. Like maybe. That is something that you're like, if I'm investing in this,
I'm investing $11
into experience of your food preparation for me, there is going to be a standard. For me, when I'm staying at a place, there is a standard.
Yeah. So you handle where we stay and I'll handle where we eat, and boom, we got this. Yes. Conflict be gone.
So then there's just like other people, right? Like the curtain call.
Yeah.
And I ran into a few the other day in a parking lot. So you were having a really lovely lunch on the patio.
We were waiting for you. We were hoping you were coming.
And I was running behind because conflict had met me for the day. And I'm coming in and I park where I've parked for 20 years to go to this place.
Briar Creek. So our North Carolina, Raleigh residents, the Briar Creek, those 4-way stops in the Briar Creek. Is it the Commons or is it? Briar Creek Commons.
I think it is the Commons.
So if you know what we're talking about, all those little 4-way stops,
you know.
Yeah. I've seen it on a lot of Raleigh memes. So
I park where I always park, which there is like the parallel parking in some of the areas.
Yeah, one of the 4-way stops.
Yes. So I'm rushing to try to get to lunch. I'd put my order in online so that I could just get there, get the lunch, sit down and eat. And then this car rolls their window down and starts yelling obscenities at me.
Yeah.
You can't park there. Who do you think you are, you dumb bee? Like all this crazy stuff. And then the lady behind him rolls her window down.
She had to get in there too.
And to the point you thought they were sparring with each other.
Like I could barely hear it, I guess, because we were around the corner. And I thought, just because I see it so often, that it was two drivers at the 4-ways that were like, no, it's my turn. I need to go. No, you are. But they were yelling at you. And
they were yelling. They were verbally assaulting.
Right.
Arguably.
So anyway,
I go into Jason's and what am I doing? I'm crying.
Yeah.
Because I held the emotion in towards them where I said, I've lived here 2 decades. You can park here.
Yeah.
But then I go into Jason's, which is a place we frequent. They know us. We know them. And I'm tearful.
Yeah.
Because it was so unnecessary. Like if their mission was educating me on parking protocol in this area, you would roll your window down. Ma'am, did you realize cars don't always park in this area? But they do. So that would already be a falsity.
Right.
But instead, it's like they're raging.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously road rage has been an issue for a long, long time. It's not just now that we're living in this crazy world with cell phones and social media and all that.
I mean, sometimes you take it on as well.
Oh, I get it. And so, I mean, why do we think...
you don't roll your window down.
No, I don't.
And that's why I say stop, because we don't need to hear that in the car.
That's right. And you never know like what the other person's situation is or what they may be carrying on board with them.
But it's just like, this isn't resolvable like, is this, like, what change is that conversation making is what I'm curious about.
None.
Right.
Really. And, but what is that feeling that clearly, I guess you don't get it, but so many of us get when we're behind the wheel?
I don't get it because I'm trying to get away from conflict. Like, I just want to drive in peace.
Yeah. But it's clearly, and me see news stories about it all the time. It's worse than it's ever been. And I fully believe that it's because we are all just
on
inundated.
The edge of agitation.
We're on the edge, and there's such an information overload between what we're seeing on our phones, what we're constantly bombarded with from every direction.
Breaking news that's actually not breaking news.
Yeah. I mean, what we're sitting at, not at work. We don't call it that. That's not what Chasta calls it. We're sitting at
the
Change the World area yesterday,
studio.
The studio. And all of a sudden it pops up that someone spilled 1.1 million gallons of sewage in our backyard by the airport.
Like last week. It was like a delayed story release.
And it wasn't even going to be released until the downtown Raleigh people, shout out to y'all, thank you, brought it to light. And so then the news station started covering it. Mm-hmm. And you hear that and you go driving down the road to Goodberry's and somebody cuts you off.
Before we get back to the episode, I want to highlight something really close to my heart. Girls Geared for Greatness is a nonprofit focused on helping young girls build the confidence, leadership skills, and belief that their future is full of possibility. Through our think tank, advocacy, workshops, mentorship, and community programs, we are helping the next generation develop the tools they need to thrive. If you'd like to learn more or support the mission, you can visit girlsgearedforgreatness.org, because empowering the next generation might be the most important work we do. I think there are so many people, places, companies that are counting on people being so checked out or so at their bandwidth that we're seeing these like sneaky cost increases too, which we also experienced yesterday. But to that point, they're like, people can't cope. They're not looking. They're not listening. They're buried in their own conflict that we're going to raise this price almost 100% and they're not going to notice.
Isn't it so funny that they are doing everything they can to avoid conflict by trying to make it unnoticeable, right? They're sending it at strange hours of the day. This happened with YouTube TV as well when they had a Disney dispute. They were sending information at very strange times of the day. They offered a credit to YouTube TV subscribers that you actually had to go in, sign in, and claim. Like they wouldn't just put it on your bill.
The customer service is like gone.
Yeah, it's like what bots. AI chatbot am I going to talk to today?
But there's nobody to talk to. There's nobody to.
There's a lot of places don't have phone numbers anymore.
I know. Yeah,
you can only use a contact for them,
or the phone number's been disconnected.
Yep, the
As
email
I also
is
experienced
no
yesterday.
longer monitored.
Yeah, or the email's gone. It is fascinating to me how. And typically it's bigger companies, right?
Yeah.
That have the power and the profit.
Potentially private equity backed.
Potentially, some may not be, some may be.
Yeah.
But they're squeezing the consumer, the client. And I encourage everybody. I feel like we have dealt with so many of those situations in the past couple months to really be looking at those line items. And if it's not right, jump ship. Like, don't stay somewhere just because it's comfortable. If it feels unethical. Would you agree?
Hit them with that conflict.
Yeah, or just
become their conflict.
Yeah, if you can
fight
find
for
someone,
yourself.
If you can
find anyone to talk to.
I mean, you can't even find the person to engage with.
Yeah.
I also I think this is something we've talked about a lot, is that maybe you in your conflict adverse, is that it, right? Adverse, conflict averse. Conflict averse approach is like you didn't really in your growing up, like there just wasn't a lot of conflict. Would you say that's true, or
Certainly not a lot of direct conflict, but
or debating?
yeah.
Or,
I mean, you're talking about like in my household, it was like my way or the highway, right?
Yeah.
For me or my parents. And
I mean, it was also
if I
that way
chose the
where
highway,
I grew
I was
up,
in trouble.
but like my aunt, was very similar, like very
Oh, believe me, I know.
Yeah,
I know your aunt. Yeah.
A lot of boundaries.
Yeah.
But we did also have a lot of lively discourse.
Oh, you still
and
do?
Still do.
Yeah. Y'all, Chasta
no,
and her aunt will get into the craziest arguments
But-
over the absolute, like, most unimportant things you could possibly. I wish I could think of an
Yeah.
example right now, but it'll just end in blows. And it's like, you guys are talking about, like, drinking water? Or
Yeah.
it's just like.
It's usually obscure.
How did you even start talking? You're talking about Prince Harry's vacation home? Like, what is going on?
I know,
here?
and it goes off in a million ways. But I'm really, as I've gotten older, I'm so grateful for that because I do think it has helped me analytically deduct some of these harder conversations that I have to have.
Yeah.
Because, she doesn't just like let me win,
No.
even if she's wrong. But if she's
I need to be careful here.
if she's wrong or I'm right, the other side is still searching for like, it's like debate club
Yeah.
in the family.
Yeah. East Tennessee Debate Club going on
And I
in
think
the family.
that's been healthy, and I want to encourage that in our child too.
You have already. Believe me. I argue. What did I argue with him on the way to school today? It was something, and he had convinced me that I was wrong. And it was like an actual, it's not like a objective thing. It was like a right or wrong. And I was right, but couldn't convince him of that.
Yeah.
So,
But there's
if you look at, the way a country is run now, I mean, maybe we're teaching the right thing. Just argue no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But I do think having multiple perspectives and
Many
angles
sides. Mm-hmm.
is perspective. And, I remember one time early career. This is when we were in our competition days. So you weren't around. And we were in New Orleans for nationals. And we had taken a contestant as an open contestant because the rules allowed it.
So they weren't affiliated with.
So they didn't have the title that year. It was their title off year.
Okay.
But you could still enter as an open.
Okay.
So even in this off year, this student wanted to compete. So the rules said, as the rules were laid out, yes, this was okay. So we get there, and a lot of people are not okay because it apparently was traditional that if there was like
unwritten rules
of like a held title that you didn't enter the contest as an open to be representing like two against each other from the same chapter. But that wasn't written. What was written was open contestants could go.
Okay.
So the chapter president at the time pulled me aside. And this is kind of when I really was like starting to become immersed in conflict and this like competition thing. And she said, you've broken a rule, or you haven't broken a rule, but you've upset a lot of people.
You've turned the table.
And I said, well, I was just following the protocol of what was written in the best interest of my client and their goals, like what they wanted to achieve, because that's my duty is to fight for the client. Like at the end of the day, like when we're looking for vendors, for who to be in alignment with, like we want to say what will best serve this family. And at the time, that was a goal they had. It was something we were doing. So it felt like the right fit. So I didn't feel like I needed to apologize. And that's what I said.
Did they get to dance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he won.
Okay.
Not that it's about that, right?
Oh, it's not about
But he
that.
was prepared.
Nice. Good job.
He worked for it. Like this was a goal that he wanted to achieve, and he did.
And there was no written.
And there was no
legal
written, there was
jargon and dance committee.
Yeah, because it's all woo woo and it's all made up anyway. But the takeaway was when I was having this conversation with the chapter president, who clearly was dragged into this situation because she was hearing conflict from other members and then brought me into the conversation, which I do have to say, I always have a deep respect and appreciation for people that are bringing multiple sides of conflict together. A lot of times it's much easier to just distance from it or not have the harder conversations.
Yeah.
And one thing she said to me, it stuck with me, and she's out of the dance space now. Like she does real estate and is very successful. But she said, I think it's really important that we see both sides. I'm like, yeah, I can see both sides, and I'm glad you're seeing it too. But like this
I'm on this side.
this side is in writing and is in alignment with the rules.
Yeah. So that story in particular takes me to another thing that I really wanted to talk about today, which is the great side of conflict, which is resolution. Like if you can reach that resolution after conflict, it feels so much better than all the avoidance in your life.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard to get there. And that's because it's worth it. I mean, even we already said that Costco refrigerator, we got what we wanted.
Yeah.
And
We
like,
found it.
I was
found a
dancing
position.
around like the, what's his name? Barry Kagan at the end of
Murder on
Saltburn.
the dance
Yeah. I wasn't
floor.
naked,
Yeah.
but I mean, I was like, I was excited. I was like, we got our money.
Friday night, 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Middle
So,
age. Do you think
whether
somebody
it's-
stop calling it middle age?
Whether it's monetary or, you know, in your personal relationships, anything.
Client advocacy. Like so many people just like don't want to take that step forward because it's uncomfortable, or they feel like maybe the perception is, well, I'm going to be seen as an irritant, or
Calling it back to another episode, the path of least resistance.
yeah.
Conflict is not that one. So,
I mean, we're going through it. We talked about this, you know, in a parenting episode about the schooling.
yeah.
Like we are hitting a lot of walls and it's incredibly frustrating, but I have decided like I'm never going to feel guilty for advocating for my child.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are so many systems that are like, just go with the flow.
Just do it. This is what everybody else is doing. Just do it. Yeah.
Like avoid the conflict.
Right.
Like don't be that person.
make-
Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Don't be this
Yeah.
conflict. Look what everybody else is doing. If you look at what everybody is doing right now, just in general.
Yeah, like
It's
the
not
people yelling obscenities at me in the parking lot. Like that's not the world I want to create, and that's not the world that I want our child. I don't think that's the world most people want their children to have.
I love just envisioning your world where the people roll down. They probably have like a hand crank window and say, "Oh, excuse me, are you actually allowed to park there? I'm coming by." And it's like, yes, ma'am, you certainly are. Now, please continue about your way. And
But
like
can you
rainbows
imagine?
are coming out of
It
her
would feel-
exhaust
it
pipe.
would-
Yeah, I just,
It would feel so good, and we could do it. We all have the power to say, yes, we can still have conflict, but we can do it in a very humane way. Like I'm going to give an example, another example recently. You know, there was with that whole private equity thing last year, that was conflict. I wrote the blogs. They were received with a lot of different feelings, which is fine. People have a right to those feelings. And I recently had someone reach out to me and say, you know, that he was like, what's going on? Because this person is saying that you don't like this, you don't like that. And I was like, well, actually, I just put out a couple of blog post, and they were like, well, that's truth. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I just really appreciate you calling versus just like saying you're not welcome here anymore.
you got kicked out of another circle.
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't get kicked out.
No.
He was just curious.
Just curious.
I think it was like, should we kick her out? That's not how it was presented, but he was information gathering.
Yeah.
And I think that is an important part of conflict is information gathering, like
Right.
not being reactive.
Oh, you mean
Right?
like all the Facebook comments and social media comments that make up our world today?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say that made up that situation,
Once
but yes,
people
it makes
figured
up the
out
world
that
today.
you talk about weaponizing,
Yeah.
monetizing conflict,
Yeah.
that's just what's happening in our world today.
The book, The Chaos Machine, it's
You
like
talked about it, yeah.
I know, and it's a very data driven read. Like it's not a page turner. But what's so interesting is, you know, when they're talking about this idea of social media and what it can become, the way they tested conflict outside of like the US specifically to see how they could create scenarios, engagement, divisiveness.
Boy, have they succeeded.
They have really succeeded. So, and I think sometimes, you know, we talk about this a lot in our house of like the conflict, the digital reality is different from actual reality.
Unfortunately, I don't think everyone knows that.
I
And I
know.
think people have lost touch with that.
But I want them to know it.
There's actually people working really, really hard to merge them into one,
I know.
which really sucks.
Like I don't
quite
want to wear
frankly.
goggles and go to dance
Yeah,
class.
or have like AI implemented, like a chip in your brain.
Yeah.
Like there's people that like want that.
That for me feels like I want to have conversations with those people to say why.
Yeah.
Like I want them to, and besides monetary gain,
Yeah.
Like I want to know like what is the driving force behind that.
And
Behind that
have you
pathway.
seen like literally any of the sci-fi movies from the 80s or even like 90s with the Matrix?
Yeah, or just how does that go against the data we know about mattering and human connection?
Yeah.
So anyway, I hope that we're able to have these counter conversations in future seasons. I would love for the conflict to join us.
Maybe we could have an AI
A boss.
on. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so just relieved that you would have me here today, and you are so
That would be
strong
something,
and resilient. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any of that. You were in conflict with it. Yeah.
So let's talk about just like when you do have conflict or disagreement, like us, like maybe people want to know how to like, and I don't, maybe
How
I
to
don't
fight
know.
Chasta. All right, well,
No,
listen to
no.
me. This is going to take more than just one episode. Y'all got to sit down. There's going to be a couple different volumes. This is going to be no.
I think that so historically in my past, like I've always like when conflict has erupted, I've been like let me remove myself, like extraction.
Yeah. That's what's
But-
so weird is that's the first thing that came to my head is
Yeah.
I would say the number one thing is be able to stay in the room.
Yeah. But you have taught me to stay in the room.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually made me like a better conflict assessor.
Better fighter.
Yeah, that's a very strong word.
I know it's a strong
but
word,
like, but yes, in
Yeah.
a way, because it is so easy to avoid, extract,
Yep.
avoid,
Or even like that you're going to say you're going to come back to
Yeah.
it later or something.
Shut
even
down.
if you, yeah.
But to that therapist point, conflict doesn't really go away.
No.
So if you don't hit it head on, you're just rescheduling.
And it's
it.
going to get worse.
It's going to get worse. It's going to fester. It's going to grow, evolve, deepen. So you're really good about being like, you want to fight? Let's fight.
It's that. Oh, what a compliment. Thank you. But no, I mean, I would say that's the number one thing because we had a disagreement yesterday. And
We don't have them that often.
well, yeah, I mean, it's not that often, but if you don't have them, I think that's a problem too.
I do
if you,
too, yeah.
if you don't have them at all. And, you know, I wanted to keep having it, but not
In a public sphere.
in a public space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, hey, can you just like, and we continue? We talked it out and I'm sure we'll have more, but
Yeah.
I'm thankful that we're both, despite how angry that we might be or how passionate we might be on one side, that we can stay in that room or outside, wherever.
I think one thing
Work
that maybe really could be frustrating for you is that in disagreements and arguments, conflict, I'm always looking for like the rationale. Or like, can you give me an example?
You're like
I want
asking debate
tangible-
club questions that not everyone grew up with that background. Yeah, no.
I want the supporting points.
You need exhibits 1A, B, and
Yeah.
C. Right. That can be difficult.
I know you don't always like to to draw out the exhibits.
Well, sometimes I can't pull them out of thin air when we're in the heat of the battle. You're right.
But I do think that's always good of like, let's take this back to like the heart of what because sometimes it's easy to get into an argument and it gets so far from like what it's actually about.
I do try to rein it back in
Yeah.
sometimes when we've gone off onto
because
very creative
yesterday's disagreement was actually not even really about us.
No.
At all.
No.
And sometimes it's just a reminder of like, wait, we're actually on the same team here.
And that's just another thing I think that's important to remember about conflict, especially with people that you love, is like I talked about earlier with everything we are just bam coming at you from social media, whatever, all the other issues in your life. Like when you are in conflict with someone, just really double check, like, am I angry at this person?
Yeah.
Or am I angry at what either is happening to me or to us or to even someone else outside of the
The
conflict?
system.
Because
Yeah.
wow, there's a lot that can be affecting you on any given day.
Yeah. That is so important. And I think that's personal, that's professional of just like, okay, what is this really about? What is
But
the
also be
catalyst here?
careful asking that question if you ask it to your wife
Yeah.
in the middle of the fight because that doesn't go well. Don't do that.
I don't
Think of it internally. Think, what could be going on in there? Do not ask her directly.
but-
Do
but,
not
you know,
ask her directly.
The funny thing is, are you referencing like yesterday? Because,
Not yesterday.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
I
'cause
learned.
you were the more fired up one.
Yeah, it was.
And I was the more
And you
rationale.
know why? Because we had received
You had a series. It was a series.
email from the email marketing group that was going to try to raise our price by $40 a month.
It was a series of events.
In a sneaky email.
Yeah.
With no price transparency, and said would go to each individual account. You don't even have it listed on your website. And that was a fact.
But sometimes with conflict, do you ever feel like I'm asking you to just like wait and learn more?
Wait and learn. Like, stay tuned next week. What are you? Next time.
Like, sometimes I feel like you've already like sealed the scenario without getting all.
Huh? I think you sealed the scenario. Anytime I can unseal a scenario with you, I'm like, yo, John, nice one. Good job.
If I seal the scenario, it's because it's rooted in like a rule, or
if you seal the scenario, it's because you think you're right.
No.
Cheryl,
no. But you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
And sometimes you're like, this is what has happened, and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'll present like
and I'm like, we don't know
trajectory.
That. Yeah. And I'm like, we don't know.
That is what you say.
Like, let's wait and find out. And now our son says that too. You never know.
He always says that now. You never know. You never know. It's like, actually, true. I do know that Quinn Hughes is eliminated from the playoffs. I'm sorry, Bash.
You have to wait until you know to really start assessing.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of conflict in the gray. A lot of people can't hang in the gray.
That is a really good point, because another thing you always tell me is to not create an inner conflict with myself over something that hasn't happened yet and isn't like a certainty, just like a scenario that I have created. And I know that, lots of people, it's not just me that do this, will create these scenarios in their heads.
Catastrophizing.
That is a misuse of your energies to
Sometimes
try to fight.
I do it too.
Yeah, to try to fight a conflict that doesn't necessarily exist.
And may never.
It might, you can hope. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually talked about that a little bit on the Trapped episode, of that we can get trapped in our own thoughts and catastrophizing so much, and it's just such wasted energy.
Yeah.
Especially when waking up on any given day, we never know what conflict is going to greet us.
You certainly don't know.
Like your dad, he is also a small business owner, and he says that running a small business is like
drinking out of a fire
hydrant. And it is. Like, some days that water, it hits fast and hard.
Yeah.
So how
you got to attach that hose to it and put it somewhere.
Yes, use that energy for the good.
Yeah.
But don't avoid it. Don't ignore people.
You got to keep, as he would also say, shout out Chuck Millsaps, you got to keep hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit.
I was about to say, what is the hair in a biscuit one?
So weird that you haven't remembered that one, but the fire hydrant.
I think it because I don't want to think about eating hair in a biscuit.
Makes sense.
But once it's in there, it is stuck. So I think this whole cue the conflict is, we know conflict is going to happen. It is going to happen with the people you love the most. It is going to happen professionally. We can talk about group projects. It's going to happen in group projects. It's going to happen. I mean, you can't avoid it's going to happen in parking lots. It's going to happen in checkout lines, in your food orders, your hotels. It's literally going to be everywhere. And what is your, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to be okay, because this is how we're going to get through conflict from the mediator lens.
Well, it sounds like a cliche, but pick your battles, right? So
that's what you told us to do in Italy when you were mitigating some conflict.
That's true.
And it wasn't even really, it was just like heated conversation in a very hot day.
Oh, man, was it hot. He tell you what, Rome in July.
And that's what you were like, it's really hot. We don't really need to be doing this right now.
I was just seeing all those sides of all those factors that I tend to factor in. So, there are certain things like your personal relationships, maybe your professional career, that, hey, you got to stand up for this. You got to figure this out. But maybe should I not have gone into a back and forth with Jimmy John's about the tablespoon of avocado spread? That's the gray area. Maybe I should have saved that energy to have a better fight with you later on. Picking battles and recognizing what you're going into without being afraid of it.
Sometimes I think that having conflict can be very healing.
That's what I'm talking about, that resolution.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that resolution. That resolution is so great if you can reach it, but it takes work.
And you also have to find a peace with lack of resolution too, because you
can't get it every time.
You can't always whatever you're going up against, you're not always going to get the response from the other side that you want.
This
And you have
woman
to
has
have
asked
peace
for
with
world
that.
peace ever since I've known her, and she hasn't gotten that. So, you can't always win. Still working hard.
And
It's going great.
you keep saying that it's a very lofty request.
Just a little bit outside. Yep. There's purses and there's, jewelry and trips. And then there's, world peace is.
Every year at Christmas, he says, what do you want? I say, I want world peace.
Yep.
And then I'll say maybe just personal peace.
Yeah. It's a little lower.
A little bit.
It's a little easier to come by.
But I think what we want people to know is to not be afraid of conflict because it's out there. It will happen. Sometimes it happens 20 times a day.
Be ready.
Be ready.
Keep your
Stay-
thoughts.
stay ready.
Stay regulated.
Stay ready and regulated.
That's another one I just want to leave people with. The more regulated you are, the better chance you're going to have at winning.
It's also going to enrage the opponent more.
Yes.
Nothing drives someone crazy than you not meeting their negative energy.
It's so true.
But like
Because then they got to handle it for both parties.
Yep.
They escalate it.
If you can stay calm and collected and regulated and just rooted in your values and truth, like I think that's really helped me handle conflict, especially the last 6 years, is knowing like, okay, well, this is what I can live with. That goes a long way. So tell us about the conflict that you lived, and will live, or maybe are afraid to live. Conflict is something that we all have to handle. I talk about it a lot in my book, Handle the Horrible. Today, I really appreciate John being on here to give a little behind the scenes approach to cueing the conflict of our everyday life, just like I know you do every day. So send us a message, subscribe, stay in touch, hopefully keep listening. Nobody listens to Chasta, but we are glad you did today. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for listening to Nobody Listens to Chasta. If today's conversation made you think differently, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. To learn more about Chasta Hamilton, her books, speaking, and the work of Stage Door Dance Productions and Girls Geared for Greatness, visit the links in the show notes. And remember, even if nobody else listens, you do.